Hello everybody, welcome back. This is the artist Scott. This is my channel where I teach you how to draw. And I use comic books to teach you how to draw because it takes you a long time. I mean, if you do a lot of comic books, you end up learning how to draw. There's a lot of drawing involved. There's other arts and crafts, but you know, there's a lot of drawing involved. So what I'm doing here is I've got different days and different parts. It's all split up. And my suggestion would be to go back to the first one and start from the beginning and just slowly make your way through it. Practice through each video. Watch a video, do some practicing, watch a video, do some practicing until you finally catch up. That's for those who it's their first time here. If you've been with me from the beginning, then just ignore everything I just said. Anyway, we're gonna really quick finish the face. We're working on the face at this part in the drawing lesson. And normally I don't, for those of you who are new here, normally I don't spend this much time on the drawing lesson, but because the face is very important, I really didn't have a choice in the matter. Now, when it comes to more on the faces, I want to talk a little bit about expressions, okay? And now what I'm going to do is switch to a more cartoony, a childish, not childish, sorry, that's the wrong word, a more cartoony type of drawing specifically, but for those of you who want to do that instead of doing a closer to a realistic type. All right, so I'm just doing a circle for the head, and then I'm doing the basic guidelines from before, and now I'm going to do worried. And worried means you have eyebrows that come up like this, and the face does that, and then the mouth is kind of small. And however you're doing the nose for whatever character you design, but that's basically a worried look. You also want to practice like a few basic ones, get those down. Now, this worried look, by the way, can be applied to a more realistic version of the character. It's the same thing. It's the shape of the eyes. The shape of the eyebrows, the mouth and the eyes. You're just exaggerating it less on the more realistic one. Now, let's say you want to do somebody who is kind of confused. He can kind of be like, "What is going on here?" Right? And he might be like that. Why is that like that? You know what I'm saying? And then he could kind of, maybe not a full frown like that, but somewhat of a frown. You might straighten it out a little bit more instead. And then let's say you're getting somebody who's really very happy. Okay, and again, you do the same thing. You do the circle, and you see how I'm trying to move it into an oval. I'm so used to doing ovals. Anyway, somebody who's happy, their eyebrows might be raised up like this. Their eyes would be open wide, and they'll have a big, giant smile on their face, right? And then if you're doing somebody who's just kind of smiling, again, I'm going back to the oval. Such a habit. Anyway, you want to do somebody who's kind of happy. You just their eyebrows may not be as high, but they'll still be kind of high, high up off the face, off the eyes. And then they're just kind of smiling, You could do let's do I did worry, and I did happy, and then one that's a little in the middle of that would be, I guess, surprised, and similar but different, where the eyes are kind of like up, like the eyebrows, are up like that. You have the eyes would be open like that, but the mouth would be almost like that. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. And then you have another one where you're maybe you're sad, okay? So somebody who's sad, their eyebrows might be up like this instead, right? So you could see eyebrows are pretty expressive. The shape of the eye doesn't change a whole lot, other than you may have you may have the middle of the eye completely surrounded by white for something like surprised, but pretty much everything else, it's the mouth and the eyebrows where all the expression is. This might be somebody who's sad, right? You could put a little teardrop there. I don't know why he's sad, but you know. Then you have, and let's do another face. Let's do somebody who's kind of annoyed. Right? How about that? And he'll have his eyebrows down and kind of arched. Could be a she. I don't know why I said he, but you know, it'll be down like that a little bit, and then he might have a look like this. He's kind of scowling a little bit, right? And how about angry? This is kind of annoyed, but how about angry? Let's do angry real quick. And I don't want to spend too much time on it because I actually want to get to the second part of this, which I was supposed to do in the last part. But anyway, if somebody was angry, you might give them a more pronounced eyebrow. Like this person's really angry, right? And then they'll be like, and they're like gritting their teeth. And then you have annoyed. And this is, you want to kind of get some basic facial expressions and kind of use them, you know, throughout your drawing. Now, let me get into drawing the comic book itself. There's a couple of things that I wanted to show you real quick. One of them is this is an old it's an old comic book. Okay, this was done in the 40s, and it was at a time when Superman was one of the most popular Superman characters around. Okay, his comic books were selling like nonstop, and I wanted to show you what this artist did. And I want you to you can use this. All right, I would at first I would say, and then eventually I would say, you want to kind of break away from it. But here you have a strong guy running towards Superman, right? And then over here you have Superman flying away. Now if you look, the figures are really not, there's a couple of changes to it, but it's still essentially the same figure. And you have the same thing here. This is, you see how the figure's almost the same? It's changed more here than here, but it's still essentially the same. I'm sorry, I have it off to the side. Sorry, I was looking at the comic and not the camera. This is why I look at the camera when I draw. Anyway, you have this, which is, it changes a little bit, right? But then you have this, where it's essentially the same. One's coming from one side, right? And the other one's coming from the other side. And, you know, it's not exact, but it's pretty close to it. And then, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but here's another part with another artist. And you see how he's got Superman's shoulders over here? Superman looks like his shoulders and chest. He looks pretty strong there, right? And then the guy has a tendency to use this figure over and over again. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's similar. Here, let me do this instead. See how he's got this here? And then he's got this here. You know, he spread the legs wider in this one. And he's got the arm down through the leg instead of off to the side. But it's almost the same figure. And then he did this one. So he moved it even further, but it's almost the same figure. He's taken the same figure and he's just changing it up a little bit. And I would suggest that you learn how to draw a figure, and then you can use it on every page. And then the more figures you learn how to draw, the less you have to do it on every page. And then eventually you have so many different figures in your vocabulary for drawing that, you know, people may not even recognize that you're doing it over and over again. But anyway, you have here you have Superman doing this, and sorry, you have him here. And again, it's like the same figure. He just changed a couple of details. And then look at that there, and look at that there, and then look at that there, and look at that there. So it's essentially the same figure. He's drawing the same figure over and over again. He's just changing little things about it. You see, this artist ended up using this figure a lot. He even gets Clark Kent into the act, where Clark Kent looks like that, and even bad guys kind of. This is like, if you cut it off like this, it's still essentially the same figure. He just changed the clothes on the guy. You see that right there? And then let me see if I can find a better one. They're all similar to me, but let me see if I can find a better one. Here we've got this guy, right? And then we got this, and then that. And they're real, pretty much the same drawing over and over again. I don't know if you could see that. To me, it's clear, but I would just say keep practicing. There's the figure again. I wanted to show you something else because I don't want to spend that much time on it. But I don't know why I brought. Oh, I was showing you. See that? He's doing the same thing with Clark now, and then he does it again there. I don't know if they came off in the camera. He's doing the same thing with Clark now, and then he's doing it there. Sorry, that's the time when I wasn't looking at the camera. So I'm either looking at the camera and I'm drawing it wrong, or I'm not looking at the camera and I'm showing you wrong. I'll get it together. Hang on. But again, it's the same figure over and over again. And I don't want to keep saying the same thing, but you see how like you can practice and draw a figure and then just draw the figure over and over again. Now these are not going to be the same figure over and over again. But what I'm saying is you could find a figure, draw it, find a figure, and then draw that same figure over and over again. Each time you do it, you get better at it. And I said that like at the very beginning. Anyway, I also want to talk about drawing the comic. And of course, in the previous ones, I showed you that, you do this and you do this. And, you flip everything over, you fold it and you cut it. You put a staple in it, and you'll eventually have a comic. And then I showed you how to do this, depending on how many pages, if you wanted to have a longer comic than what I was drawing, than I'm initially showing you. And this one, it looks like 12 pages, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 12. So you just take 2 sheets of paper and you follow through. So I would say go back to find that one to find out where we are. And then you have a 12-page comic. And this one's creating, it says 8, but I counted, oh, this is the wrong page. What did I do with it? I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong page. But I counted from number 2. So it's really front cover, inside front cover. It's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages, and then a front cover and a back cover. And then depends on what you actually want to do here, which in my comic I'm going to do artwork. In other words, but here's kind of what it looks like. And I counted, this is page 1, in case you want to do it that way, is page 1. And we've also already did the comic from our previous ones. I have it already lined out for you. So what we're going to do is, I'm actually not going to do it this way. I'm going to do it on 2 separate sheets of paper. I'm going to do I'm going to do this side here on this page, and then this side on this page. And I'm going to show you why later. Hold on, let me get, I'm going to show you why I'm going to do it that way later. You don't have to do it this way. If you want to do on 1 sheet of paper, do it on 1 sheet of paper. But the reason I'm going to do it on 2 separate sheets of paper has to do with down the road after the comic book is completed and how we're going to print up copies to sell to people. So if you're just making this for fun and you don't want to print up copies to sell to people, then do it this way. And if you don't, if you want to go ahead and make copies down the road, then do it on 2 separate sheets of paper. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this part now. This is day 6, part 3. I'm going to end this now, and then we're going to get into penciling the comic book, which will be part 4 in the next one. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And also, I'm going to have a link down below to check out my Patreon account. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.